What can we do to improve our writing, especially when we are in an IELTS exam? What mistakes do we make, and how can we improve them? This video helps you to do better at IELTS by helping you to do better in English. Following the hints and tips provided in this video and others like it by the Phoenix Learning Channel will most definitely help you to improve your score. We will do three things. We will look at examples of the wrong way. We will look at examples of doing it the better way. And most importantly, we will learn why. And there may even be a surprise at the end of this video. Our first wrong example or bad example, or more accurately, example of bad writing. Here we go. I think global warming is bad. Global warming makes pollution worse. Pollution kills people. It makes their lungs go bad. This lets them die. Nothing wrong with the logic in this. Nothing wrong with the logic in this, but no, 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 no. Don't write just using simple sentences and simple words. It is much better to write like this. Global warming is a threat to humans because it endangers their health. It does so by exacerbating the levels of pollution in the air, damaging the lungs of those who are exposed to it. This has potentially deadly effects. And why this is good is related to words and sentences. It is better because it uses two long sentences and one short sentence, as we can see, the red L, L, and S. And it uses three complicated words: endangers, exacerbating, and potentially. So what we have done in this example is we have used a varied vocabulary and a varied sentence length. This makes your writing interesting to the reader, and it shows off your grammar ability as well as your vocabulary. Okay, so perhaps the golden rule for writing in English in IELTS exams is that variety is the spice of life. Second example is a bad answer to a question. Here comes the question. Do you agree that global warming is bad for us? What can be done about the situation? And then the answer, yes, I think it is bad. It must be fixed by the government. Really a facepalm moment for us. Much better to write. Since global warming has been linked to the death of a number of people and has been identified as the cause of environmental disasters, it is something that must be stopped. Governments could take the lead by implementing strict pollution controls and by accelerating research into green energy. This answers the why and how of the question. Why do you agree or disagree with the statement? And how do you think this problem can be fixed? The rule here is to study the question carefully. Take some time in your exam to make sure you understand what is asked and make sure that you answer the question completely. Third example, bad writing. The attempts by governments to litigate the negatory effects of global warming have been successful. Nevertheless, I agree with these approaches but find that they are right. Moreover, criticism is not fair. You will be forgiven for thinking that it seems okay, but there's a couple of mistakes in this writing and I will highlight them here. Litigate, negatory, nevertheless, but, and moreover are used incorrectly. Two words are used incorrectly, their meaning is different, and three words are linking words which are used in the wrong position for the wrong function. So let's look at the correction. The attempts by governments to mitigate the negative effects of global warming have been successful, so we must make sure that we use the correct, the just word. And again, this is where vocabulary plays such an important role. Moreover, I agree with these approaches and find that they are right. Moreover, and it means that you add to what you are saying. However, to compare, to contrast, criticism is not fair. What is our golden rule? Our golden rule is that we must know the language. We must know words. We must have an extensive vocabulary, and we should read as much as possible. As I've said elsewhere in other videos, it does not have to be novels that you read. It can be a few paragraphs a day, but make sure that you develop a daily habit of reading English. It will do much to improve your language. Next example, and I've seen this so many times with students. I am not a fan of the politicians who lie to us and those stupid people who don't trust science. It really cheeses me off. I wish we can all learn to follow facts. Again, nothing wrong with the logic or the argument here, but the language is really super informal. It's really almost shockingly informal. And one of the things we need to keep in mind in English and definitely in an IELTS exam is that writing tends to be more formal than speaking. Writing tends to be more formal than speaking. All right, so the mistakes, perhaps not a fan, lie, stupid people, cheeses me off, wish the language is also not neutral, like you just call politicians liars. And maybe many of them are liars, but not all of them. Well, I hope not all of them. Perhaps we can write it like this. There are those who disregard science and allow their bias to muddy the waters, leading to heated debate by those following science and those who do not. I would argue for a more science-based approach to solving this problem. More neutral, more formal, and less perhaps controversial. Keep your language neutral when you write and keep it more formal when you are doing writing. Next example is, again, bad words. Governments should lead the way and civil society will precede. The flood damage was so bad they had to evaporate the city. Opponents say that global warming is just a figment of the imagination. And maybe it seems okay, but there are a few mistakes. Precede, evaporate, and pigment. All right, the correct words are proceed, evacuate, and figment. So the rule, know your vocabulary, as we have already said, and stick with words you know. Use the words that you know. Therefore, variety, know what is asked by studying the exam question, know your language, keep your written English neutral and formal, and make sure that you build up an extensive vocabulary and that you do this daily. Quality, as Aristotle said, is not an act, it is a habit. That is all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you will subscribe if you find this video to be useful, and see you again in other videos. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.